Tuna wageni watatu, Mheshimiwa Sebastian Kapufi mbunge, ambao ni wadau wa maendeleo kutoka Marekani. Wadau wa maendeleo kutoka Marekani, karibuni sana.
Shalom, Salama, Siemi, Shalom. Greetings to all my Israelite brothers and sisters from around the world, whether you're of the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the house of Israel, or you are a Gentile grafted in to the house under the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach. Family, we welcome you here this morning with Q2UA Africa, and this is a special report. Family, right now, we're in a time like no other. And this is a time that it's dire. It's funny, as I was just speaking to the executives that I'm going to bring on up here. On Teo's Live, shout out to Teo and Yakoba, there was a question in the panel by Sita Jacob. And Teo was saying, with the Medes and the Persians and those that are gathered around, according to 2nd Esdras 15. He said Saudi Arabia and Iran would have to coordinate. Let me share this with you, because I kid you not. I kid you not. I'm going to share this. Can you all see this, family? And I'm going to drop this link. Let me read this for you all. It says from Barron's. This is October 11, 2023. This is the headline: Saudi Prince, Iran President, hold call on Israel-Hamas war. Saudi Arabia's de facto ruler and Iran's president spoke by phone about the war between Israel and Hamas, Saudi state media said earlier, their first call since the surprise rapprochement in March. Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman received a call on Wednesday from the Iranian leader Ebrahim Raisi, during which they discussed the current military situation in Gaza and its environs. The official Saudi press agency said. So there was an article earlier from Sames that I had, and then now they switched it on up with Barron's. I'm going to tell you this, family. This is fair use. I'm going to tell you this, family. This is not a joking matter. They're going to tell you what they want to tell you to the world on the press release, but I'm going to tell you what I see. And then I'm going to bring up the folks at Q2UA Africa, some of the folks that help me on a daily basis. These are our volunteers that are helping in the executives. And it's funny because even Dylan, yep, you're absolutely correct. But now here's the funny thing. The funny thing is Saudi Arabia and Egypt are being shunned. And they're being shunned by the West. They're de facto friends, they're de facto rulers. And as they're being shunned, look at what's happening. They're turning back. As the scripture says, this is Second Ezra 15. These are the times, if you've been asleep, you're going to have to wake up. I was telling you all this on Covenant Awakenings. Our people are going to get woken up. They're not just going to get woken up, they're going to get dragged out the bed, probably get stomped on a little bit. They may have a broken nose, maybe some busted teeth, but it's Most High's going to get their attention. And we need help. We need help to get this thing going. I'm going to tell you, and we're going to talk about this because it's not just me. It's not Karis Copeland, executive director at Unite Afrika. There are people, there's a staff, there are volunteers that we have in place for this moment, this time. This thing was not in the box. This was getting ready and prepared by the Most High himself. After all the adversities that we went through, after literally banks saying on our Zelle, calling us fraudulent. The problem is their whole system's fraudulent and they want to call us fraudulent. I think that that's pretty oxymoronic. But we're building for the future. Because let me tell you what I see getting ready to happen in my calculus. Take it for what it's worth. Take it or leave it. But you see a carrier strike group in the Mediterranean Sea. See, if you didn't understand what was happening in Ukraine, Ukraine was a land and air campaign to stop NATO expansion. That campaign defunctly halted as of 2-3 weeks ago, literally at the General Assembly. Now you have another campaign. You now have an air and sea campaign that's getting ready to happen. And it's about to happen on a couple of fronts. Don't just think that it's all about the Middle East. Oh no, Asia's about to get involved. We're not saying these things just to be, oh, we're fear mongering, we're this, we're that. No. We're saying these things because we want your families to be prepared. We want to have a plan for when this thing goes down. We know how to get in touch with each other. We know how to be a network without a telecommunications network. We have to be able to reach and respond and react with the limited resources. And what's funny? It's a blessing to be able to do this with the minimal resources that we've had right now. Because now what that did, that just exercised our revolve and how we talk to one another, how we communicate with one another, and how we reach one another. So, family, without ado, I'm going to introduce you to the executives at Unite Afrika. And this is what we're doing to work this every day. We're on this thing for 2, 3, 4 hours. More times 5 hours because we jump to different meetings that we head on up. We're talking about strategy and other programs because we see this coming. You can't put your head in the sand anymore. You're not allowed to. Ha ha, Gentiles. You're not allowed to put your head in the sand anymore. Brother Walt, Sister Ozeki, Sister Princess, Shalom family.
Shalom, fam.
Hello, family.
Shalom. Shalom, family.
So, right now, and what we've discussed in these last 3-4 weeks, how would you all assess that this planning is going? I know that's a broad statement, it's a loaded statement. Given the conditions that we see, we thought that, to be honest, we thought that this was going to be maybe 6, 7, 8, 9 months from now.
Yeah, I really think we're a little late to the game.
I
For
agree
what it needs
too.
to
Just
be.
for military operations, usually this takes months, but as
Right.
Canadian Prep Press says, there's only war. What was it? World War III rumors. So
Well, it usually takes about it's about 6 to 9 months to have all your logistics pieces in place for a full scale invasion.
Exactly.
And think about this. You already had your military bases already in play. And you have to understand, as like a theater commander, your theater commander understands this. So whoever the CENTCOM commander is at this time, and now it's probably CENTCOM slash UCOM, and it was operationally given over to CENTCOM. Who knows? That on the ground commander, that combatant or geographic combatant commander, as they would say, they know that once they go, bases are going to burn.
Oh yeah.
They know that once this thing is enacted, troops are going to be lost, lives are going to be lost. That's why I'm trying to tell folks it's not going to be what people think it's going to be. And then what ends up happening when the U.S. has to say, we have to strategically turn tail and run? Of course, they're not going to say turn tail and run. They're going to
Oh
say we
no.
have to strategically reposition so we can re engage at a more tactically advantageous time. That's the playbook.
Right.
I
well, the
mean, I
issue.
think, oh, go
Oh,
ahead.
go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think that, the minute that, quote unquote, we set foot over into that other country over there a couple of years ago, that's kind of when everything started, and just seeing everything dwindling down. And I'm sure there's an agenda that we cannot really tap into what's going on. But right now, I mean, they rolled out Fed now a couple of months ago, and just all of these little things are a part of this, what's about to happen. And I think it'll happen in a matter of a light switch. Just turn on, turn off. We wake up one day and we don't know what happened or
Uh,
what's
and
happening.
and thank you, Sister Princess, for bringing that on out. Because why? Because here's the thing, family. Like I've always said on the question or on Covenant Awakenings platform, I've always said this. They know the time of the end of our captivity more than we know it. And to be honest, I believe my personal calculus and thinking is they already know the date and the time. And what they're trying to do, they're trying to have the softest landing possible to the new masters, per se, of this world order. It's time, family. And you know what? We can't stress it enough. I've never seen to where they've said, hey, we're not even going to talk about peace. They're not even talking about negotiations. Do you get what I'm telling you? It's like the game's set. You either going to jump in or you're going to get stomped on. And I'm sure those were probably that was more than likely that BRICS summit that happened last month. Because I've always said this, they plan things in the back rooms. They shake and they agree. They give the wink, and it's like, all right, now we ready. And let me tell you this. Yeah, I'll get to you, Brother Walt. But let me tell you this. The moment that you see any ship in that carrier strike group go down, you won't see it on Western media. You'll only probably see it on YouTube with Arabic speaking or European channels, or probably African channels. That's it. But the moment that imagery captures the United States, I'm telling you, everybody's pulling their money out the banks. Everybody's pulling their money out the banks. Because why? Because that's where the system will collapse first. And then all of a sudden you'll have CBDC.
Exactly.
Go ahead, Brother Walt. You're still on mute, Brother Walt, if you're talking. There you go.
Can you hear me?
Yep, now we can.
Yeah, I was just saying in most conflicts, the first thing they talk about is a resolution to try to smooth things over.
Mm-hmm.
But in this one, they just went, all in, you know, and that should tell you that they were kind of planning and waiting for this.
Yeah, they were waiting for the day, and to me, the day has come. Because I can't see anything, any news or anything else that's stating, oh, well, we need to have this, we need to have that. They've been hitting this thing for 6 days. And now tomorrow, or presumably later tonight, going into tomorrow, now you're going to start to see all hell break loose.
Yep.
More than likely in the Arab world, starting tomorrow, and then chances are in the Western nations, to include us, the United States. This is why it's imperative, family. We're solidifying things on the continent, but we need your help to get it done. You can give to Q2Unite Afrika by visiting us at Q2UniteAfrica.org. You can Cash App us. There's no limit on Cash App, so you can give over $50. It's imperative. We don't have time to waste. We actually don't. And you don't want to know what's awesome about this? Man, the Most High gave a testimony. What a testimony for Q2UA. When one of our donors showed up and support and said, you want to know what? I'm going to paraphrase his words. He said, look, it's likely that we may not even have bank accounts come January 1st with everything happening. So this is the investment. Family, I'm telling you, don't put your trust in this dollar. They're showing you right now that this dollar is not going to hold the value that it once was. This is the fight of de-dollarization, and it's happening right now in front of our eyes.
Yep.
So what are you going to do? You're going to keep it in the banks, and then they tell you, hey, sorry, sir, sorry, ma'am. You ain't got nothing there. Your 401k's gone. Your life savings are gone.
Yeah, and that would be a sad day to all the money that you've saved when you could have invested it into something that's going to benefit us as a nation of people.
You'd be investing it on the continent. We have meetings with our counterparts every week. Let me tell you, we have opportunities in Nigeria, in Sierra Leone, in
Yes.
Ghana. We're not making this thing up. They want us to come back. That's what I was trying to tell you, family. You're not going to see the plan, but I guarantee you, when it starts to develop, you'll start to see the African Union show their hand. This is why Israel was kicked out of their conference earlier this year. Surprise, surprise.
Exactly.
We don't need the imitators listening in on the rescue plan of the original people. But here's the thing. This is the time we have to help ourselves. You can't just say, well, I need help, and you can't communicate. This is the time. You know, our fight isn't a fight of economics, or excuse me, of it's not a spiritual, or it is a spiritual, excuse me. It's a spiritual fight, but it's not a physical one. Our fight in this country has always been an economic fight.
Yep.
That's how we respond. We don't respond in flesh. We can't. But the moment we respond in dollars, guess what? The moment this kingdom shakes. Have you noticed how this kingdom has been shaking since Q2UA Afrika formed up and getting in dollars? To me, I'm gonna be honest with you. In the background, I thought 2024, 2025, we would start seeing this in about March. I didn't expect to see this in October. I didn't. I didn't expect to see it now. I didn't. This is, to me, this is an October surprise. To me. Now, did I know that they were going to have troop movements and, ammunition and things of that nature going on over there, having the logistics? Yeah, absolutely. Because I was thinking, okay, they're going to go on over there and they're going to do what? They're going to train for at least 6 months. And then when they do the training for at least 6 months, and then they'll start popping off around March, April. Because that's the US's optimal time to strike. We are not in the US's optimal or prime time to strike. This is not their prime time. Matter of fact, they hate this time. Retired, 23 years. I can tell you that. They hate this time. Sister Nwazeki, veteran. She could tell you. Brother Walt, veteran. He could tell you. They hate this time.
Yes, this
Go
is
ahead.
when holiday stand down starts. So it starts from October all the way until about the end of January. So yeah, the US does not like to fight during these 4 months.
Nope. Because you want to know why? They're encouraging everybody to take leave at this time. Take leave and get your leave balances off the books.
And spending money for the holidays.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Spend time,
Yeah.
with
Getting
your
ready
family.
for, if you're in the Marine Corps, like I was for 11 years, getting ready and doing the planning for Toys for Tots.
Yeah. I
Working on
remember
the Marine Corps birthday ball and the Navy birthday ball. Working on the Veterans Day parades. That's what they're working on. This, The training spikes up in the summertime and then it starts to fall in autumn. And then by wintertime comes, everybody's retooling and getting refit for spring. This is the most out of cycle season ever. And let me tell you this, I can tell this was not planned by the US, and they have to be reactionary because of the surprise factor that's happening. I think they knew when that things were going to go on, but I don't even think they truly understood with their operational capabilities. I don't even think they truly understood what was happening and the flare up that happened. To me, this is more dangerous than what I looked at as an analyst working the Arab Spring, when you have Facebook and everything else, and folks were going on out there. You had the man in, I believe, Tunisia that set himself on fire, because now you have a total polarization of the Arab world. So what do you think happens when our dollar is pegged and tied to the Arab world? Well, I'm going to tell you this. Go big or go home. I wasn't saying this for just holding, talking on out there, listening to myself. Go big or go home. We're asking that instead of writing that check for the Christmas gift, because I believe, listen, Hamas done canceled a lot of people's Christmas. Hamas done canceled a lot of people's Thanksgiving. Hamas done canceled a lot of Halloween plans. Who's going to do Halloween plans now?
Your Halloween plans gonna come with real zombies and
Yeah,
machine guns.
yeah. All those Halloween plans could come with real security issues. This is the time, family. It's not even, we're not even talking about hour after hour. It's literally minute after minute. Minute after minute. They are at war. Do you understand? They're at war. I was talking to our folks earlier yesterday. There's a difference between war and conflict. The U.S. wanted to say, hey, if you listen to the U.S. reporting, the core U.S. reporting, they are talking about it's a conflict, or it's a conflict, it's a conflict. The Israeli government is saying it's a war. Let me give you some geopolitical insight into how words have meaning, and those meanings can be very dangerous. Wars mean that anybody or any entity or any government that's supporting that nation that is at war, that nation is now susceptible to any attack. They declared war. That means anyone, anywhere can get it. And there were a lot of red lines that the U.S. broke by sending over weapons yesterday. Oh, military aid, like that was a happy thing. You know what that meant? That meant, all right,
They can get that smoke too.
yep,
Yep. Military aid and then sending 2 carrier strike groups. I don't think everybody knows the multitude of that. Usually, when we had conflicts, it only took 1 carrier strike group. You sending 2, no,
Exactly.
that's you declaring war.
mm-hmm. Well, I've always said this. It's the war that will never be declared in the West.
Right.
The war that will never be declared in the West. And now we're seeing it. And this is why, look, your donations at this time is more critical than ever. This wasn't last week. This is out of cycle. This is Thursday. And now you understand, listen, even folks in the US realize, oh, this country's next. I've never seen that. I've never seen it, especially with the
Mhm.
amount of consumerism and the head in the sand tactics that the people here use. I've never
Right.
seen them be so on edge. Yeah, of course
Yeah.
this place is next.
Google
Question.
searches for "can I be drafted" have spiked in the last 5 days.
Yeah. People know it's about to go down. Yeah.
And this is the most critical time for us to be involved with our family over on the continent. And let me tell you, they're just running into our paths here. And I get it. I get so down because I'm like, we don't even have we can't really even help them. We need the resources that you all have to help our people. They're coming over to us, begging us for help, begging us. We had someone yesterday approach Sister Shar at her networking event in Atlanta. Asked one of the CPAs that we partner with regarding precious metals in her country that she needs help with
Yeah.
to broker a contract. So then those metals can be refined and be properly inventoried and accounted for. Because here's the thing, because the Chinese are over there just taking it, stealing it, because there's no contract.
That's right. It's time for us to take our land back. Work together to take our land back and our resources, so that we as a nation can get back on top the way the Most High want us to be.
Absolutely. And we're saying that there's no investment opportunities. This is not a financial channel. We're not giving financial advice, but we encounter investment opportunities all the time. And I want to be able to present that to our brothers and sisters here. Of course, I can't present it on the YouTube forum, but on the Sunday meetings, hey, look, this is what happened. This is what dropped on our lap. Do you not think that the continent sees a sense of urgency also? Who are we going to deal with? How are we going to deal with this? And they're turning to us. They're asking us, can you help us? We're not seeing this thing out of happenstance. Well, we're going to go to the continent and, it's just going to be daisies and rainbows and, manna from heaven. No, we're going to be putting our shoulder to the plow, and we're going to be working and doing things to manage the resources. Because why? Because they're going to be coming over, tapping us on the shoulder. Hey, can you help us? And you want to know when that work starts? That work starts right now, today. It started 6 months ago. But now in this critical hour, we can't have you all be scared. Go ahead, be scared and hold on to your resources. And then guess what? What does the word say? That's where the moth's going to eat it up. Quest Unite Afrika, can you help? When I had the money, I wish I would have helped you. That's going to be those sad sob stories. I lost $100,000 in my 401k. I lost a $500,000 in my 401k. That's going to be the sad sob stories, because you want to know why? Because we can see it happening. And guess what? You know that banker that jumped out the window and self-deleted himself? I'm sure he saw it happening too. In every single war, and I'm going to get to you, Red, in every single war, guess what? Money gets devalued at the very first shot. And guess what they weren't trying to do? They weren't trying to fire a shot. The U.S. is going to be forced to fire a shot because they provided military aid. The question is who do they fire that shot against? Against those Russian naval forces based out of Syria? Against underwater drones based in the Gaza Strip? Oh, yeah, family. It's really going down, and we really need your help. Shalom, Brother Red. You're on mute, Brother Red.
Hey, what's going on? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
So, Brother Red, you deal with our IT. And let me tell you this, family. IT is one of our biggest expenses. Because why? It's a telecommunications effort. And right now, you know, we were looking at this thing and we're like, wow. You know, all of a sudden it's like something's going on. We were being spiritually attacked. Because that's the only way that the enemy can attack us is in the finances. And we were saying, oh, this is a big concern. Because here's the thing. This channel was getting 400 folks on the live stream. And there was no donations coming in. Like, what is going on? So, family, I'm going to tell you this. If you donate, please ensure that you're donating to, for Cash App, it's at Quest2 Unite Africa. Do not donate to any other source. I'm going to put this here in the chat. It's at Q2UA. Because I know how our people get. Our people get flustered. They'll have things saved in their phones. If you choose to donate, and you're donating via Cash App, at Quest Unite Africa, at Q2UA. If you choose to donate, Zelle's the best one because, to be honest, we don't have to worry about any fees coming out. Everything is a fee. Do you not think that this was going to be the hardest thing ever? Of course this was. Do you not think that as soon as they have a shot, what do you think happens to our telecommunications?
That happened back in the beginning. You know, I've been doing IT for a very long time, and especially at a high level. And I've never seen what happened with our domain happen to any domain before. And I've dealt with companies that deal with some stuff that triggers alarms in the security. If you're at like those companies that do media and advertising, we always have to fight with them because their domains get blocked because they use these programs that blast emails. So it's probably why you don't really see them as much anymore unless it comes from a main big company. But when you used to get all those little spam emails in your email box, you know, I worked with companies that did do that. They would send out the emails. There was a yacht company actually that I did some work with where they would send out emails to all the different subscribers and stuff. And we were always fighting to get their domain unblocked because domains watch out for that because that's what spammers do. Quest Unite Africa hadn't even sent. I don't even think we had even.
We hadn't sent not one email.
We hadn't
and
even
we
sent
were
an
literally
email.
on their list.
We got our domain held down, and it was like, what? And then they were like, oh, you got to verify yourself. So, you know, I work with carriers. We get all the information verified and stuff. We didn't hear nothing. They literally locked down the domain for like months. It was nothing but the grace of Yada. I was able to grab the other domains that we really needed and move those over. But they locked down the domain. This is Wix. This is not, you know, nothing, no private, unheard of company before. This is a public company, Wix. And they played games with our domain for like months. I'd never seen no mess like that before in my life. They hadn't even sent one email and they locked the domain down. It was crazy.
Yeah, because that's the challenge. We've been living with this challenge for over 6 months while, guess what? Now, while they were staging this conflict, trust me, this war was staged. Ain't no doubt about it. We already know. You think that we were just going to awaken and, you know, they were going to kindly say, oh, here you go. Please go back, because the Most High said to go back. Your Elohim said, you know what? It's time for you to go. And because we're the nations, we want to listen and comply. No. This is their survival struggle. There's no turning back. There's no peace. This is their survival struggle. Why? The U.S. has no assets to back its dollar. And everybody is leaving the dollar. The bonds that they got last week, that was it. And I bet you they told them, hey, take whatever you can out first week of October, because everybody else, they're messed up, and we'll just recoup the money. We'll just recoup everything on the carcass.
And this is well in line with what America does, because, you know, they told everybody, oh, look, 9/11. Oh, let's go to Baghdad. This happened in Afghanistan. Let's go to Baghdad. Didn't know that Saddam Hussein was planning on a bank filled with gold. He got deleted. Then fast forward, you got what's it, Libya? Where it's Libya or
No, you're right. Libya with Gaddafi.
Yeah, with Gaddafi, and he was got to do the same thing. The Bank of Africa, back it by gold. Oh, he's a dictator. They need some democracy. Like everybody who has ever tried to elevate their economy to a standard to make them on par or compete with America, they all of a sudden get cooed or deleted. And BRICS now is planning that very same thing. So they can't go at everybody all at once. They can't do that. So they need another way to get over there and to put themselves in a position to stop this thing from happening. And just remember, Iran and Saudi Arabia just joined BRICS. So,
and they just had their very first historical phone call regarding Israel and Hamas. How do you think that that's going to bode well for the West? It's not. The West knows they're going to see it happen. I'm going to tell you this. Look, you want to know how drunk they are with this? The stock market's going to open up and it's going to be like a 600 or 700 point rally.
Mm-hmm.
Because why? Because they're trying to feed you a lie.
Yep.
Oh, everything's good. See. Look. It's the government pumping money into it. You can pump as much as this fake dollars as you want to. When the fake dollars goes away and we're working in precious minerals that's actually worth something, when we're working in these mines that are actually worth something.
Yeah.
Well, what Quest Unite Africa? I mean, I tried question. You don't have to explain it to me. That's between you and our Heavenly Father. I'm just going to keep it going. I'm just going to keep it moving.
Keep it pushing.
Yes,
because here's go ahead.
Yeah, because 6 of the highest oil producing nations are part of BRICS now. And what is the U.S. known for? Their petrodollar. So if the petrodollar is at this point, we should just consider it dead. That means that now the dollar is only being backed by the force of the U.S. military. So just as Brother Karras was saying, as soon as one of those ships go down, and I don't think people know the magnitude of it. I'm former Navy. Cruiser destroyer holds about 300 people. Carrier strike group just on like a carrier will hold about 5,000. Can you
Yep.
imagine one of those just going down?
Here's what you all didn't realize. They were taking out those ships in the Black Sea via U.S. weaponry. Oh, do you not now get it? All right, come on out here. Come on out here. Warriors, come out and play. They got the little bottles clanging. Except Animal Monster's about to get beat down. And they're going to say, no, y'all the ones that killed Caesar. And they're going to be sitting on the beach, lobbing rockets. They're going to be in the water, lobbing Kinzals.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all don't even understand this. Kinzals. All right, come on out here. Bring them out, bring them out, bring them out. It's hard to yell when those Kinzals are flying about. They're going to be saying, I can't hear you.
China already said, what good is having, the greatest ships if they can't block missiles?
Yep.
And people forget that China actually has the aircraft carrier missile killer.
What do you think happens? And here's the thing, family. What do you think happens next when that destroyer gets taken out? It's not a question of if. I'm saying it. I'm stating it. Brother Karras said when. Yeah, I said it. When? What do you think happens when that destroyer gets taken out?
Mm-hmm.
It all goes downhill fast.
Yep. Everybody pulls out.
Yep.
Because why? You have to do an operational risk assessment. Am I correct there, Sister Fatea? Am I speaking as a commander would speak?
Yes, and the crazy part is if that strike groups gets attacked, they're not going to have any backup. They got to work with what they got.
Yep.
Because that happened, because a lot of people forget
LOL.
about that. It's happened in the early 2000s when one of our destroyers got attacked. They were on their own for at least 3 days.
Mm-hmm. They'll sail away. There's not going to be any port that's going to want to welcome them because why? Because any port on the African continent is what? That's fair game.
Yeah.
All they can do is just sail on back to Europe, probably Greece. And then they'll make the statement of, we had to operationally yada, yada, yada.
Make a politically correct statement.
And then you know what the funny thing is? Then they'll say, well, we need to have a peaceful solution. Oh, you want to talk about peace now after we don't spank you behind. You get what I'm saying? It's like you don't get a chance to negotiate now that you're losing. I won because I got punched in the face. No, that's not how that goes. Because then what will end up happening? The dollar will start, it'll reverse.
Yeah.
The stock market will look just fine. Oh, don't worry, we have some turbulent markets as people are getting their money out. And then guess what? The government's just being backfilled. Y'all didn't understand that that's what happened back in 2020 with BlackRock just backfilling companies. This is why these companies, they don't fail. They can have the poorest ran company, the poorest ran structures, and they don't fail, which is what's happening. Excuse me, Treasury, can we get some more money? I ain't got no more money to give you. Why? Because everybody's turning in their bonds at a steady rate. When the bonds get turned in, all of a sudden, well, let me just tell you.
Yeah, BRICS just dropped another $18 billion worth of treasuries here in the last, like, not even 2 weeks.
And
Yeah.
Japan. Japan's
Yeah.
been dropping theirs in China, and they're the largest bondholders, and they've been dropping the bonds and repurchasing their own currency. And what a lot of people get that normalcy bias, like, oh, this happened before. Oh, they'll just move the thing, and the government's going to end. They'll move it, but see, the reason why they're moving it in such short terms, because usually when they like renew it, they'll do it for like a year, or they'll push it off for like 1 or 2 years or something like that. They're only doing it like in small increments now because the American economy is a Ponzi scheme. This is all it is. It's a Ponzi scheme. All they do is pass around debt. That's all they do. It's debt. Even when you have your dollar, that is debt. Has no value. It is debt. And now when there's nobody buying into the Ponzi scheme, what happens? It starts to bottom out. So those bonds that all the foreign countries used to buy, that was how they used to top themselves out of their Ponzi scheme. That's what they did in 2008. 2008, when the whole crash happened, they got bailed out because all the companies was buying bonds because they dropped the rate of the bonds, and everybody just started gobbling them up real quick. And that's how they was able to make up some of their debt. Nobody's doing that no more because everybody sees that America is America's credit rating got dropped. Let that sink in.
Yeah. Like Martin said, no credit can't get it. The bank says I can't. My credit don't get it. The bank says I can't. And guess what? That's the bank right there. It's to do what? It's to try to say to the world, the international community, everything is good. Everything is fine. And now, do you understand what literally just happened? It wasn't just Israel that got punched in the face. It was the U.S. too.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they're not even caring about, they're talking about, well, what about rule of law, rule of war? What about, humanitarian situations, human rights violations? You don't hear none of that from the U.S. U.S. is like, shoot, human rights violations. You see what we do to these Negroes every day? Get out of here.
Yeah.
Y'all acting like this is something that's just going to pass over. It is not. This is, to me, what I'm looking at, this is the beginning of the end. And that end is going to precipitously drop. Precipitously. That means it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and that thing is going to it's going to start off as a raindrop. It's going to be a cannonball before it makes impact.
Coming in like a tsunami.
Yeah. I don't even want to know what that tsunami missile Russia has, but it's going to be coming. That radioactive tsunami.
Yeah.
Go ahead and feel that one. Let me know how that felt. If you're a surfer, you ride that radioactive tsunami wave. That was the best wave of my life, dude. And then I got cooked to death.
Yeah, man. Crazy.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, that dark winter that Biden was talking about, it's coming.
Yeah, winter is coming. This ain't no Game of Thrones. I mean, yeah. But once, you know what I'm saying? Look, this isn't anything. If it wasn't as vital, I would just say, yeah, we'll just talk about it on, Q2UA discussions. No, this thing is vital.
Yeah.
Just like as Brother Walter said, we should have been we're behind the curve.
Yep.
We need to be not just establishing our presence on the continent, but we need to be having our people there taking trips weekly. Because the continent, let me tell you this. This is kind of an awesome thing that's what's happening. Now, all the folks now on the continent, all of the oppressors that are on the continent, now they have to reprioritize things and they have to look at things. See, if you don't have you can't have your grip tightened on the continent because why? Because now you have to look at things in your homeland because you're going to war. And what does that do? That allows the diaspora to come on in and to help. Thank you for
Exactly.
those that are giving. I definitely appreciate it. We still need your help, family.
Yeah.
Continue to support family. Because I'm going to tell
Because
you this. When you look at the treasury and you think you understand the treasury and how the dollar is valued, that valuation, it'll cost more to do things. It'll cost more to travel. It just will. Because why? Because our value is going to fall. It just will.
yeah.
I'm going to tell you this, and I don't want to sound mean or facetious or anything else, but the moment they see one of their carrier strike, that's a god to them. They're
Yep.
moving in their god.
Yep.
Here comes one of my lowercase g's. And if they see their lowercase g going into the sea, you're
you
going to be seeing some bodies dropping from highly elevated buildings.
Especially if it's the General R. Ford, because that's the newest carrier that's just been released.
Mm-hmm.
hmm
So that's their baby.
Yeah.
And those things are kind of expensive too.
Yeah, they cost a couple billion to make.
Yeah. Yeah. And the donations help us re-engage with our family on the continent because we're going back and we need to, you know, have we want to create an environment to where, we know about their culture and they know about ours.
Yeah, Chris Walker said actually 8 billion. Yeah, it's a couple billion. Yeah. Now think about that. Think about that.
That's just
That's
a
a
ship
lot of
alone.
money.
That's not including all the aircraft that's on there.
Yep.
Right. And that's a
That
lot of
that
money
that thing
at the
is
bottom of the
potentially
ocean.
trillions of dollars. Trillions of dollars on the water.
Yeah. That'll be a lot of money sitting at the bottom of the water,
Yeah.
at the bottom of the Mediterranean Sea, just sitting there.
And America doesn't replenish their ammunition as fast as Russia. Russia can replenish in 1 month what it will take America 3 years to replenish. So
Mm-hmm.
Hmm?
Yeah. Look. It's gonna be real. It's gonna be so crazy. All we can do is just watch the TV on CNN or Fox News or MSNBC, and Fox News will be like, "We now have a special program. Get your gold bullion."
sure
They won't
will.
even show you that. They'll just be like, we've interrupted with a Jerry Lewis telethon. You know, their little Saturday afternoon programs, Sunday morning
Right.
programs. Everything's fine.
It's okay. Nothing to see here.
Because here's the funny
Keep
thing:
walking.
what can the Gentiles do now? Think about it. Where can the Gentiles go? Think
Nowhere.
about think about their situation now on the continent. You realize the only thing that was keeping them safe on the continent is America's military presence.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
I'm telling you, everything is in jeopardy, and they can see it. Everything is in jeopardy, and they can see it.
I don't know, Brother Curious, if you saw the presidential conference last night, and I don't know. I was just reading. I read kind of like people's body gestures, and the president was on there, and he looked like, man, this is it. You know, he just had this look of regret on his face, and through what he was speaking about, just far as everything that's going over there in Israel. And it's like they don't want to go to war, I think, because they know that they don't stand a chance.
Well, yeah. I mean, think about it. You have to now have a power projection And you have to understand, they're bad territory because if you, and this isn't an if, I'm going to tell you this, family, this is a win. This is a win. We've been saying this on Covenant Awakenings channel, on Teo's channel, on Sister Shonda's channel. It's not a matter of if. We said that when they go to war, well, here it is now. When this happens, here it is now.
Mm-hmm.
Now these ships are in Russian range for a Kenzal.
Sure are.
So now, when these ships go down, it won't be one or two ships. It'll be 3 or 4. Because why? Because they want to see the optics of America doing actions that they want to clown America. Oh, look how scared they went. Look, they turned that ship so fast it capsized. That's what they want to do. They want it to be an embarrassment. The more you're embarrassed, guess what? The more people stop believing in you, the less money you'll be receiving. The Dow will look great, but the economy will sink overnight. And then you better believe it'll be a blessing to have our contacts on the continent. You have to understand this. We're not over there because we want to support them. It's not just having us support them. We have to change that whole context, the whole concept. Believe it or not, we're over there to establish a relationship because we're going to need them to support us. We're going to need their help. We're going to need them to talk up and say, hey, don't do that to my family. Don't do that to my brothers and sisters over there that you took, that you kidnapped. Don't do that to them. Don't do that to our flesh and blood. Are you all good? Do you all need food? Do you all need clothing? Do you all need shelter? We don't truly understand the paradigm to this. Because why? Do you know we'll be the first ones targeted? Y'all truly don't even understand how dangerous of a time we're living in as black folks here in America. The moment that ship goes down, the moment these white folks are fighting, they're not fighting them, they're going to try and fight us. Oh, you all spoke against the United States, and see, look at what you did. You caused these Russian rockets to destroy our ship. We don't even understand it because we sit at home, we're behind a computer and not even realizing the imminent threat, the imminent danger. Why are you getting mad at me? I'm just telling you the truth. You want to know how you get ready? This is how you get ready. Reaching out to the continent. That's how you get ready. Reaching out with our brothers and sisters. That's how you get ready. Getting these relationships established here. Matter of fact, we're not late. We're right on time because I think a lot of our people had to realize what it is and the danger that they're staring at. Ha ha he he. I'm an Israelite. I'm a child of the book. Ha ha he he. Okay. We're trying to make it out to past the sword. We're trying to make it past the sword. That sword could get drawn literally at any moment. They're not just sitting there twiddling their thumbs.
Mm-hmm.
This is why this thing's so urgent. This is why these donations are so urgent. We're not saying, oh, this carrier strike group, it's still
No,
in
this
the
is
Atlantic. No, it's not. It's literally right there in
right
Israel,
outside of Israel.
on the
Yep.
coastline of Israel, right in their territorial waters. So, no, this is an urgent matter. The game should stop. We can joke, we can laugh, but honestly, playtime's over. Playtime's over. Anybody have anything to add?
Well,
No,
all I
it's
know is that it's getting real out here, and we need to be prepared to get up out of here.
Yes, because they already know that we're not supporting them. We're not supporting either side of Palestine or Israel. It's all over the new black media where everybody's like, "Wait, what dog do I have in this fight?" So they already know. They already know we aren't supporting of any side of this. So
That's
just
right.
as Brother Kara says, it's like as soon, not if, but when one of those ships go down, they are going to turn on us. It's the tension in the air. It's literally just waiting for a match.
and they've been feeding these. They got all these different accounts. Some of these cats, you can't tell me they're not affiliated with three-letter agencies, and they have Twitter accounts just devoted to spreading misinformation all over. They'll find old videos of some random black dude beating up on a white person, saying,
Yeah.
"Oh, walk around strapped, be ready." They spread all this stuff. One of them, when they talked about how they used to make the skin out of black folks, oh, this is fake. This is just fake news. Oh, you black people believe anything. This isn't real. Like, they're priming these folks because they don't. We know that there's a certain set of people in America that can't deal with stress very well. Look at what happened
Yeah.
in Enron. Folks was jumping out of windows. Look at what happened in 2008. Folks was jumping out of windows, and that's just at the thought of being broke. Like, that's
Right.
literally just that. Like, you willing to jump out of a window, then to have to maybe buy pork and beans for a few weeks, but maybe making a sugar water for a couple of days or something, and they probably wouldn't even be that bad. That's the sad part. They
Yeah.
probably just went from having a yacht to just not having a yacht and being middle class, and they was ready to jump out of a window. So now to see that your whole structure that you thought you believed in crumble but in front of you, and see that we don't, because we don't support that. Even these young kids, they talking about jumping in this draft and stuff. The numbers went from like 400,000 in reserves to like 70. There's like 70K. And then they want to talk about do a draft, but none of these cats gonna run up and do the draft. None of these young Jews and younger, they don't nobody. Like, it's funny. I was seeing this one YouTuber, he was talking about TikTok and how TikTok has they called it anti-America propaganda, but it really wasn't. It was all the truth. That's what it is. Like, they seeing the truth. They seeing the truth of this country. They seeing the truth of what it is and what's going on. Ever since really even George Floyd, the world has been seeing the truth. I've seen more accounts from people speaking foreign languages that's talking and commenting on all the craziness that go down. Like, they are in a bad corner and they know it. And they are not going to handle it well when the Most High starts to move us up out of here.
Yeah. I was watching this one video. This white guy, he was talking about how the black he was just in how the Black Lives Matter, or some black guy was showing videos of stuff that was going on in Israel, and how the talking about the babies and stuff being beheaded. And said, and it's just not right for them to talk about, Israel like that, and we're gonna have to do something about it. So they're just like I say, setting up to try to take us out.
Yeah, absolutely. Because look, I'm going to tell you, it's fearful when, as a Navy commander or any type of military commander, you're putting in your warships into an area that can have a negative effect on it, that can be targeted, that can be destroyed. That's a real danger. They're not saying this just because they know it. This is a real danger to put their ships there. And they know, look, it was already told don't get involved in the war, and they already got involved. All right. I really haven't retaliated with these ships that I lost in the Black Sea. But now we got you where we want you because we know we had to bring you out. To me, ooh, this is a chess move. This is a chess piece setup. Let the history books reflect. So, again, this thing can pop off at any single moment. And it's already popping off. It's just that when another pop off of such a high stakes target, a high value target, that would be the highest of the highest value target right there. Then what do you think's going to happen? That fighting will definitely either subside or definitely will turn. Oh, we need a peace resolution right now. We need a peace resolution. Wait. Y'all weren't talking that. See, they're going to bring it back to them. Y'all weren't talking that back in 2021. Y'all weren't talking that back in early 2022 when we had to roll up into Ukraine. Y'all weren't talking of that, earlier this year with Taiwan. Nah. We're giving you what you wanted. See, careful what you ask for, because when you get what you want, you may not be prepared for how you handle it. And that's what's happening. We do not have time to linger. And I'm praying that the Most High puts it on his people's heart to give it this time. That's what we pray. Because honestly, I don't even know what's going to happen in these next 24 hours. You see how crazy that is? Don't ask me what's in these next 24 hours when they have their global day of jihad. Because then what happens there? I look at my son. He's 17. He's getting ready to turn 18 years old in January. Do you not think that they'll suspend these professional leagues? Now we need you to fight. But my contract, what contract? You ain't. If there's no America, ain't gonna be no contract. So get your behind to that front line. You want your mansion, don't you? Get to the front line. Don't worry, we'll come back with the leagues after we win the war, and then you'll be a hero. Go
I
ahead,
think
Sister Fatea
I
or
think another.
Imazeki.
Hey, you can call me Potato too. I could go with either one. Another thing that's not being spoken about is, haven't you noticed that all of the EU has been very silent about this, not about the war, but about the America's intervention? Like, you don't see any of our allies trying to assist, or
No,
any U.S. allies trying to assist. So,
that is frightening. That is frightening. No one's really showing up in mass to be like, all right, we're going to stick our necks out for these folks
no, if you notice,
over
it's only
there.
the U.S. that's been over there, but you see all the BRICS nations having all these talks here in the last 6
Mhm.
days, and just as you were saying, the Saudi Arabia and Iran one is a historical um, event because they don't like each other. So,
No, no. so, so this is what I was saying earlier when Yakoba was talking about that and saying those things and answering the question from one of the panel members. And literally at the exact same time, you had Iran and Saudi Arabia talking to each other. These folks know what's going on. They know what time it is. This is crazy. That just means when I'm looking at it, nobody's stopping this thing. Time to usher in the new bosses. Nobody's stopping this. Time to usher in the new bosses. The question is, to me, how much longer do we have now? How much longer do we really have?
I say just months. It's like the dollar is on its last leg, it's teetering.
Yep. I say pack your bags and get ready. Keep your tennis shoes on.
Keep it,
So-
keep your tennis shoes on while you
and lace,
sleeping.
exactly. Keep them laced up.
Yes, it
Just
is
jump
due
out
that
of the
Go
way.
to
bed.
bed.
Just have some Listerine next to you. Jump out the bed, get a quick gargle, and be
and be out.
And be
man.
out. Yeah, and when that happens, the US dollar is not going to be worth anything, so why even hold on to it?
Yeah.
Well, because
See.
people have to. It's a comfort thing. It is. It's a comfort thing. Uh, I this is what I learned. This is what I know, and this can get me on out of here. So then go to that airport. Go to that airport, and they say, "Hey, I need to book a flight up on out of here." All right, that flight is going to be $60,000. 60,000? What?
Oh man,
Yeah,
come
sorry,
on, just
sir.
put
Your
me
your
up.
your money's not is worthless.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, think about this. This is what happened in Lebanon a couple years ago, like 20 years ago. Folks were trying to get out of Lebanon. Their Lebanese dollar crashed. It was only millionaires that were able to get on out.
Yeah, because they were using tangible assets to get out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'll sell some gold. Look, look. I'm holding on to my T shillings. I said when those T shillings flip, and instead of it being 2,300 T shillings to the US dollar, and it's $2,300 to the T shilling, I said, oh man,
Ooh.
I said your boy is gonna be good.
Hey, you're gonna be making it rain.
I'm gonna be drop it there. You got change for this 1,000 T shillings right here. You know this 1,000 T shillings. That's like be doing that quick
Hey,
math. That's like you know like $2-3 million right here.
hey, you'll be a thousandaire.
Good thousand.
Legitimately.
You see this little T shilling coin that's like 25 T shillings? Oh man, look at this. Look at
We get you some of these right here.
this. Better get that act right. This brother's holding the T shilling. Man, he's rich.
Yeah, yep.
But yes, this is
Yeah.
why your donations are so important to Q2UA, because being able to go over to the continent to be able to have those relationships built with our brothers and sisters over there, because they're just like us. They like to be able to see face-to-face contact. They like to be able to sit down with us and have dinner and just be able to get that relationship rebuilt as a family.
Right, right.
So
Yeah.
as I see it, the donation is an investment. It's a way to build generational wealth.
Yes, it
You
is.
already know that the end of this empire is over, and it's now time the for the next one to rise here. So why wouldn't you take the opportunity to be able to invest in not just in your future, but also in the next generation future, your children, your grandchildren.
Yeah,
You know, and this is, to be honest, this is the investment. You're investing in the continent.
yeah,
And let me tell you, that's going to reap a windfall.
yeah. Because they need us just like we need them. You know,
Absolutely.
they've been keeping us away and giving us the you know the lie that Africa is a poor country. You don't want to go over there, while they're going over there stealing and raping our continent. You know, even the palm color people. You know, they got resort homes and living it up because their
Mm-hmm.
money goes so far.
Mm-hmm.
And telling us, no, you don't want to go there, and showing us the images of fat belly babies with flies. Not that they aren't there, but the most of Africa is beautiful.
Yes.
I mean, it is beautiful,
So
and
so
very
Walt, there's
peaceful.
there's some questions in here. You know, here's what ends up happening in this geopolitical economic framework. If you don't have the United States, which is what they've done, they've given their power over to Babylon. If you don't have be that military force that is the guarantee of white supremacy,
Hmm.
I make no bones about it. It is. If that's there, or if that's no longer there, because let me tell you, there are a lot of implications when things go down. People leave.
Yeah,
And guess where they'll leave? Guess where they will leave? They will leave the continent because why? Well, we don't have a security force. We don't have a security guarantee.
yeah,
Guess what they're going to be doing? They're going to be the ones coming through and saying, "Hey, can you give us, can we negotiate? Can we have a political negotiation? Can you give our people time to get out of the continent? Can you get our people time to get out of the embassies?
right.
Can you give our people 2 weeks to get flights back and to make arrangements?" Question is then, what happens to all those businesses? What happens to all those homes that's been built?
Hey, they'll be laid up for us.
You see what I'm saying? Hey, if you are an American citizen here, you may want to leave. Who's that really going to affect? I highly doubt it's going to affect African Americans.
Not me.
I just want to, have that distinction on out there. But then what that also affects is that also affects other European nations. Because other European nations will be like, oh, well, technically we're really not like, we're not the United States, so don't come with us like that. We're friends. No, those European nations, and they start to see their threat, there's no guarantor for them. So they're going to leave. Plain and simple. Well, we're Europe. We're different from America. We have respect. They're going to leave. They'll have no choice. So then what does that what then how then does that affect global markets? Well, plain and simple. If you don't have the resources that you were getting, then guess what? You need to start cashing out your chips so you can start buying things for your country. That will be a very interesting paralyzation of the EU because the EU will be paralyzed. Don't worry about the EU. I'm worried. I'm doing this on my own because, this is an emergency situation. But what about our EU charter? What about, our oath to one another as a European nation? Yeah, that was all good when this didn't happen. So technically speaking, you could literally have a war on Europe within the EU due to the lack of resources. If we really want to be technical, if you really want to break this on down, that's a potential. These are things that are here. This isn't any, well, we can see what happens in the next couple of months. We can see what happens in the next couple of weeks. You realize it's happening right now because now every other nation is trying to have their calculus. How do we survive post Africa? And I guarantee you, France is going to be the biggest backstabbers ever to its own people.
Yes,
To its,
because
go ahead.
France wanted to join BRICS. So the BRICS
Hmm.
summit that happened in South Africa, they actually wanted to join, but I know Russia was one of the main proponents that had said no.
Yep.
And you already know that the French Prime Minister Macron, he already met with the Chinese president, about 3 months prior to that?
Yes. Yeah. Why is that? Because France knows France is in trouble. And what will France do? France will start its own war in Europe to do what? To shore up resources. See, we have to understand the full calculus because they are beginning to be a people that's resource deprived. And this is the ultimate resource deprivation. The ultimate.
Which goes back to us reiterating that it's going to be a very dangerous time for us because, as Brother Red said, they're not used to not having everything or everything going their way. Just look what happened
Exactly.
when we had to technically shut down for 2 weeks, but it lasted longer than that. They couldn't go 2 weeks in their
Hmm.
house.
They felt like they was in prison.
Yeah.
They was like, "Let me out of here."
Imagine that they have to shut down because of economics. We have to just shut things down because why? Because they would say this, we're on a war footing. It's for everybody's protection. Nobody's here yet, nothing's here yet. Because why? They'll have to ration fuel.
Hmm.
They'll have to ration food.
Yeah, and
Oh
don't think
yeah.
that Mexico don't know what's going on. They want to actually help finish building the wall.
Mm-hmm.
You know, President Trump said that they paid for it. And so now that they want to pay for it, we got you. We'll build it all, keep all y'all in.
Yeah. That'll be in a lot of people's calculus. Hey, we need to get up on out of here. We see what's happening. Sorry, all corridors are blocked. All flights to Europe have been canceled, or they'll say are delayed indefinitely. Because why? Europe won't want all to have all those bodies. That's more mouths to feed. They don't want that. What are you going to do over into Europe?
Yeah, because that's
Besides, you know, bringing your Americanisms on over. They're not going to want that.
yes, and that's the fear they're going to come to an understanding here. And I can't even say months. I would say just a matter of days or weeks, because they're not going to be able to go to Europe. Mexico's not going to take them, and Canada is already in China's hands. So where
Hmm.
can they go? The U.S. is surrounded by water.
Yeah, the U.S. is now people are going to start to realize they're stuck like Chuck.
Pretty much. Ain't nowhere to
And
go.
going over to the continent now is going to be a gamble. But they probably won't think that. But then, hey, well, I can go back anytime I want. Will you be able to? All of a sudden, there's going to be flights going from Africa right into the United States. Those flight offerings will be available all of a sudden. Do you fly into Europe? No, we try to avoid Europe due to, security concerns.
Right.
Wow. Yeah, so it's only about a 5-hour flight to Ghana. Huh?
So you've been taking me around for 12 hours just to get, a 5-hour flight? Well, we had to
12
figure out some.
hours. It's like 24 hours.
We had to figure out some way to charge you more money.
Exactly. You taking that European tour, getting you some extra bed bugs.
Right. That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, come on now. Look, you'll start to see a lot of their things unraveling. And it won't just unravel like, you know, piece by piece every day or every other day. No, it'll be like every minute.
Yeah. Like that sweater. You just pull one string, and it all just fall off.
Yeah. Well, South Africa's already bricks.
Hmm. Yeah,
South
yeah, yeah.
Africa makes the S in bricks.
Right.
So that's a little too late.
Yes, I think Ethiopia also got accepted into BRICS.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
exactly. That is
Yeah.
Ethiopia is really your Horn of Africa area.
Yeah.
And Ethiopia highly influences Djibouti and Eritrea and Sudan,
Yeah.
which is your
And all
Red Sea component. Oh yeah,
and all
no,
that's supposed to go live.
international transportation is done.
Yep.
International global commerce as we know it is done.
Right. Yeah.
As soon as this thing kicked off and these other nations said, look, they won't never back down. They did that never back down. They're talking to their sensei, black teacher or black student, the teacher and student. I don't know that why that movie popped on up. It was shot in Orlando. It was filmed in Orlando.
Yes, but all the trading corridors, because a lot of our trades go by sea, that's going to block off the Red Sea for you, the Suez Canal. You can't
Hmm.
go down to around Cape Hope because that's South Africa and
South Africa.
Russia. South Africa and Russia already got ships down there.
Hmm.
And
You
then
won't
on
be
top
able
of
to.
that,
Atlantic will be will be a problem because why? Because you have Brazil.
Yep.
You only have a North Atlantic corridor.
Ain't nowhere to
That's all you
go.
would have. Yeah, the Mediterranean will be shut off.
And the other thing you have to think about too is that the U.S. has also shunned a lot of South America, so
Hmm.
don't even look to them.
Mm-mm.
This is the proverbial snare. Proverbial,
Yeah.
you walked into your own trap. Man, and see, I have been saying on this channel about emotions and what emotions can do to you. And they emotionalized that. And when I said, okay, let's see how this goes. And then they produced the phantom report of the, the quote unquote supposedly headless infants
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
nobody can confirm. I'm like, no, they're emotionalizing it too much. Because why? They're trying to hype it up too much.
Yeah.
And
Before
Everybody
you
talking
all.
about that
that
with not one shred of proof.
Mm-mm.
well, one should approve exactly. And it's like, yeah, they're trying to hype that on up. But the babies, you know who that feeds.
Mm, them palm color
And
people.
then we'll say, okay, well, we'll address that. So why don't we address alligator bait?
I was just
Mm.
gonna say that we got
Ooh.
whole postcards with children on alligators about it, and they still don't believe that, but they'll believe sight unseen that they're walking around doing jihad on babies with no
Right.
pictures.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because again, I'm on Twitter, I'm on all these places. I've seen pictures of some crazy stuff. So there would be something out there if there was. There would be
Yeah.
pictures.
Yeah.
Bingo. Bingo. Absolutely. They'd say, look, these images are too graphic and we blurred them, but here they are. And then you'll find the unblurred images. Come
Absolutely.
on
I've
now.
seen pictures of the Palestinians pulling their kids out, having
Out of the
little
rubble.
small wrap blankets, having their,
Yep.
yeah, I've seen pictures of that. I've seen pictures of them when their kids all wrapped up in bloody blankets and placing them to rest and stuff like that. I've seen that, but I haven't seen any pictures of any beheaded babies on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. They're trying to hype them up. Come on in, and let the churning begin. And that's why, look, okay, they want that emotionalism because why? Because they're gonna fall for the okey doke. And all we can do is just look at them and be like, well, I guess it was nice knowing you because you're gonna fall right into the trap. You're gonna fall right into that trap. Well, where's the proof at? All right. You're telling me in the age of the internet, you got not one photo? Man, get out of
You
here.
you ain't got nothing.
Well, it's I'm white and I say so.
Yes, but you were somehow
That's it.
able to get a nice 4K shot of people paragliding into
Hmm.
that
Right.
country.
Hmm.
But you don't have any pictures of proof of babies being beheaded.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That would be that country's Emmett Till moment. And you would just put that up at the UN Security Council like, look at this.
Yeah.
Explain this one to me. No, we're not buying it. Sorry, we're not buying it. Sorry. This isn't our fight. Y'all wanted to take the title without no type of proof. Y'all wanted to take the title and say that y'all were people that were not. Well, let me tell you about taking titles. You're going to live with the title, you're going to die by it. We don't want it anymore. We're just going to go back to Ashkenaz.
We can
We're
go
Edom,
back.
we're Edom. We give up. We give up. Leave us
Yeah.
alone. Now all of a sudden you're Edom? What?
Where'd that come from?
Look, when the going gets tough, the lies get shed. all the time. And that's what the Most High is doing. He's putting them in the vice grips and he's squeezing. All right, you really want this? You really want this? You see what I done did to my real people.
Mhm.
Do you really want to claim what you're claiming? Do you really want the name that you hijacked? All right. Do you really want to be dealt with how I dealt with my own people? Okay. And remember, it's going to be worse for you all. Uh, uh, it's too much. It's
Maybe
too much.
okay.
Uncle. Well, they won't say uncle. They'll say, eat him, eat him.
Eat them, eat them, eat them.
They be tapping out, eat him. I can't hear you. Say it louder.
Say it louder. Help me.
Oh yeah, the security incident at the Mona nuclear site. I saw that. Yes, Amani S. They're lobbing things, and that's where some of our miseducated folks are on over at. Unfortunately, that happens. Here, let me put you on a site that's going to be targeted. What a time we're living in.
Oh, and to answer somebody's question about their waiting to be raptured, if you actually look up the old meaning of what rapture means, it means sudden or violent taking and carrying away.
Yeah, but it's not going to be in their thought and not in their context of rapture.
It's gonna be a snatching away, of course, but it won't be glorious.
No, because you have to understand that's the tactic of war. That's the tactic of war. Go ahead and get shipped off. Go ahead and get marched over and take that less than 100-mile boat ride over to Russia from Alaska, and you're going to be on that train for a little over 36 hours, and then they're going to park you in the middle of nowhere near the Arctic Circle. Let me tell you this, family, you ain't going nowhere. What is that? Oh, we call that the America settlement. The America settlement. The America settlement. What is that for? Oh, that's for the hardline patriots. Those are for the Eurocentric hardline patriots. The moderates, yeah, they got over to those them ghost cities there in China. And they're now on a 1,000-year work program to pay off the $33 trillion. Oh my goodness. 1,000-year work program. We have the interpreter. The interpreter.
Oh no, there's not gonna be an interpreter. They're gonna be just like us. You need to learn Chinese. You need to learn some Cantonese or Mandarin.
Yep.
What's this English?
Can somebody tell me what they're saying? They said, we have lived in luxury for too long. We have bent the backs of the Negroes for too long. Now our backs will be bent stronger and longer than the Negroes. I can't really interpret that. It says if we don't do it, we're gonna die. What?
I know what that means.
No. It's It's like trading places. Uh, is there a Negro that can help me out with this? Sorry, it's only
Nah.
us. What? There's got to be at least one Negro. There's got to be at least one tether.
Nah,
So
we can
remember 10
pass
years
on that.
back, I used to work in corporate America with you. I was like 2 cubicles away from you.
Nah, I don't remember that. I don't know that. Who are you? Where's your sponsor card? Do I know you?
No, we'll be coming on over in the Siberian tours. You'll be seeing commercials on the continent. Do you ever wonder what happened to your oppressors? Dun, dun, dun. Well, now you can take the Siberian safari. The Siberian safari, you get a chance to see what your oppressors are doing right now. From wood chopping to furniture making. We
Brick
do have to
making.
warn you, some of this is graphic, so you will have to sign the waiver, especially for younger eyes. Oppressors, oppression tours.
Brick making.
See how it ends when their captivity begins. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun.
Oh boy. I don't even want to think about what they're gonna have to go through. Because it is gonna be so much worse.
Yeah, people are taking it lightly about like, no, you're probably gonna have to be kicking people off as we're fleeing from here.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're gonna start to realize and they're gonna start to get, oh, uh-oh, this thing is for real. And family, as I said earlier, especially for those coming in here, we're not talking about a matter of, excuse me, we're not talking about a matter of weeks or months. We're not talking about a matter of like, well, this may be in sometime next year.
Yeah.
We're literally talking about a matter of days, potentially hours. These folks done called for a global jihad.
Mm.
In the words of my best impression of Brother Rojo. Think about how that was flaring up back in 2013-14. And think about how it's going to flare up here potentially very, very soon. It's already been flaring up. I'd hate to see all of the actual reports that's on out there. Be looking at your house tomorrow and it's like, where'd that plume of fire come from? Could someone explain to me where this you just see smoke trails throughout the everywhere. Yeah, we don't know what's gonna get operated. Do you think that they're gonna have that invasion, that southern invasion happening forever? No.
Mm-mm.
That southern invasion, when did it spark up? It really sparked up what? Around last year sometime, but it
Mm-hmm.
got worse around what? March and April, where they were just coming in with droves. I don't even want to think about it. But them sleeper cells are about to get activated.
The US is being prepped and primed to be publicly jumped on.
Yeah. And ain't nothing they can do about it. Nothing.
I mean, I'm not even trying to look. Yeah, it's speculation. It's speculating. But here's the thing. We're seeing it happen with our very own eyes. There's no speculation that these warships are in the Mediterranean Sea.
Yeah,
There's no
they there.
speculation that Iran and Saudi Arabia are talking. There's no speculating that Egypt and most of the Muslim world, actually all the Muslim world, you haven't even seen no type of pushback from any of these Muslim countries and how they'll involve themselves. The polarization is literally here. And all it took was less than a week.
3 or 4 days.
Less than a week.
Another point to make too, even though that is a nuclear carrier and can just stay out to sea forever, the issue is replenishing it. A lot of people don't actually know that a lot of the replenishment supplies actually come from the Middle East when the U.S. is participating in that theater.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't got the support of Saudi Arabia, you don't got the UAE, you don't got any of those areas to be able to get supplies from, where you gain it from?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Your little G God can't help you now.
Yeah, and there's no ports in Europe that I can understand that would be able to support a carrier strike group. So the U.S. is literally floating into a trap.
Well, they may have some bases in Italy, in Greece, but yeah, to be honest, if you're one of those countries, especially in Europe, would you want to risk that chance of having them dock? Because then that's a provocation. You see what I'm saying? Man, if you dock here, I'm gonna be in trouble. If you put your ship here, I'm gonna have some issues.
Yeah.
You understand, right? It's just politics. You know what I'm saying? This is what these are the real issues that they have to deal with. They put those ships. They put those ships in the range of Russian armaments.
Mm.
Russia is literally right in the neighborhood. Russian ships are right in the neighborhood. And you don't think that they got them Kinzals? You better stop playing. Putin will be talking about America. You have 30 minutes to depart the area. This warning is going to be in effect in 5-4. Boom. What happened?
My bad. I
What happened?
miscounted. I meant 5 minutes. I'm sorry.
I'm in
sorry.
5 seconds and I already took 3 of them.
Mm. My bad. Just lost in the translation. I'm sorry. My bad.
So they got Kenzals on their ships. If y'all don't know what Kenzals are, those are hypersonic missiles. Hypersonic missiles. I don't.
That carrier strike group probably doesn't have anything to defend against that at all.
I think Kenzals, I think they're spelled Kinzhal or Zhol. I'm not sure how the transliteration or the transcribing is. They can spell a couple different ways phonetically. But yeah, these look, when they have hypersonic nuclear missiles called Satan 1 and Satan 2s, don't think that they're not going to use them them missiles. It's not for show. It's not for show. And now, and now, things that we have been saying, things that we have been talking about. Family, get ready. Family, get ready. It does me no joy to see the loss of life.
Mm-mm.
I'm not celebrating it. I'm not reveling in it. I pray for those folks that through this that they may seek the most high and understand who he is. That this judgment has been preordained, it has been pre-forewarned, but folks wanted to ignore this. No, no. Israel's Elohim is an Elohim that folds his hands and he's asleep. He don't care about his people. See, after
Mm.
400 years, look, they're still in the land. No, we just need to take care of business, and we got them here for these next 600 years in our 1,000-year reign. That is literally, that was their thought process. Oh,
Mhm.
nothing happened. 400 years, nothing happened. Oh, we're good then. We're waiting for the Atlantic Ocean to divide, and black folks just you know flying on out of here, and celestial chariots, and you know no, we got a chance. We can really we can really do this. They had to hype
Mm.
themselves up. No, we can really do this, guys. Come on, fellas. We really got them. Look, their Elohim fell asleep. Boy, they scared me. I really thought they were onto something with that 400-year prophecy. Oh, they were really onto something. We got it now. Let's shut them down, and they'll never speak about this 400-year prophecy ever again. But boy, oh boy, my oh my, have their tables have turned. The tables have turned, and they can't really understand what it is that they're seeing. But we've said this. This is not something that we put in the dark. Gentiles, we said this because why? Because this is your chance to repent and donate. You can repent and donate.
What's it saying? Anyone that blesses Israel will be blessed.
Yep. You've already cursed us, so you already know where these cursings are going towards.
Yep.
If you've cursed in action, that action is going to come back to you. Because why? Because when this place gets captured, then remember, these are an inhumane people. Look how they inhumanely treated other humans. So these folks may be subhuman. So I don't really need to treat them as regular people because they're subhumans. Do you see how these tables are about to turn? No human in their right mind would have so much uncompassion, would have so much hate and vitriol. That's not a human characteristic. That's a flawed animalistic characteristic. They must be an animal.
Probably even beneath an animal because they treat their dogs and their cats better than they treated the population they were oppressing.
Do you understand the narrative that's going to be going out? I'm not going to deal with animals. Sorry. Matter of fact, I was told that, you got to get rid of the animal population. It's just euthanization. It's a humane thing to do. This is what they're afraid of. I literally just voiced their worst nightmare. No, so we're going to have to do all the worst so you can understand humanity again. Oh, and by the way, you also need this brain chip because we don't trust you. We don't trust you in your inhumane behaviors. Sorry. You've demonstrated it over these last 400 years, not just in America, but in these other countries and worldwide. So that's the only way we're going to deal with you. Put a brain chip in their head. Because why? Because if they're thinking of doing something wicked or evil. Oh, I can't engage with them if they don't have a brain chip. Sorry. If they don't, oh my goodness. Do you know what they'll revert into? Do you know how what they'll do to you? They could kill you. Yeah. It's best to just deal with folks that have brain chips because at least, you know, the AI that's programmed in them, at least that program will kick in, you know, sort of like a aggression an aggression governor. Like you have a speed governor in a car, you have an aggression governor.
Be like an e-collar if you have any aggressive thoughts, and then it shocks you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's sad, but that's
It's
the reality.
yeah, because they're see the 400 years that they've oppressed us here, and then even just with the current war that's going on, compared to when Russia rode into Ukraine, what did Putin do? He had humanitarian corridors for civilians to get out. The US hasn't even established that at all during this whole time.
Yep.
Now explain that one to me.
Yeah.
You know, I guess they don't want us to get out, or they don't want us to be afraid, or they don't want us to think that it's coming to our shores, but it
Well, and
is
that's
coming.
exactly. And now that's you understand. Now the whole world is seeing this on full display, and that's going to be everything that they have used is going to be used against them. And then it's going to be like, no, don't project who you are because we've seen who you are. You have shown yourself in that conflict. See, you had to put all your chips on the table, and that's what they're doing. That is that's crazy. Get out of Gaza to go where? Okay, if you want to play those word games, see, this is why I say I don't think they have much longer before the tables turn, right? Because in our attention span, you got to give it a good 2, 3 weeks that everyone around the world is paying attention. Everyone around the world is paying attention. Give it a good 2, 3 weeks. Oh man, they're doing that to them. They're doing this. They don't have anything set up for them.
Nope. No bunkers, no nothing.
Yeah.
Then they're gonna
No
look back on
plan.
us and be like, "Yeah, we've been telling you the truth here for almost 400 years that this is what they do. This is how they are."
Yeah.
And then you're going to start to see they're going to here in the US, they'll try to start quickly disassociating here in the next couple of days. Yeah, but we support this, but we don't support that. No, you just said that you supported it. No,
That's
don't
not what I meant.
you can't wiggle your way out of this. This is the whole thing to this is it has to be shown so they cannot wiggle their way out. You want to wiggle your way out, you can't. Explain this one. Explain that one. Uh, you know, uh I figured
See, what I meant was, I don't know. I don't know. Too much pressure.
family, we're establishing these connections on the continent as we speak. This is what I brought in the executives. These are the folks that I work with every single day. This is what we've been doing for the last. Listen, we had an urgency about this in literally beginning of September. There was an urgency. There is a spiritual urgency. Okay, we got to re-engage. We got to do this. We got to do that. We got to look towards this. We got to look. Emails were already going out. Folks
You're right.
were being put in our path. Folks from Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, Ghana, Nigeria. Folks were being thrown in our paths because why? Because that's what the Most High does.
Mm, you're right.
He's an Elohim of order. We're only mentioning what's going on in the presently. But let me tell you how we're affected on that continent. They're seeing those traditional strongholds being destroyed. They're witnessing all of that. So now, when they're seeing that, now you understand, they see, well, these traditional things that we've been, what they've said, what they've told us, well, it doesn't hold the same currency anymore. It doesn't hold the same value. These are the times that we have to go in and plant the flag.
Right.
These are our family that's on out there. We need to talk to them. We need to have our cultural engagements with them. We need to embrace them. They want to embrace us. This is where it's vital we do our part in the time frame that we have left. I'm not going to give a time frame. Well, Brother Kara said it's just we only had this amount of time left. No, I'm not going to give a time frame. But I do believe the time that we have left is not that much. And you see all these other YouTube personalities panicking. Because this, honestly, where can they go? What can they do? Normal's not coming back, and now they're realizing it. The new normal's about to be here. And there's going to be a lot of changes in that new normal, socially and demographically speaking. There's going to be a significant brain drain in this country. And when that happens, guess what? No country ever recovers. That balkanization, I believe that's going to happen. Because what happens? No country can ever unite. Well, if they unite, then they're going to get my resources, and I really need my resources, so I'm just going to have to keep this here and keep that there. This place, and the I don't even want to know. I don't even want to think about what this thing's going to look like in 20 years, let alone in 10 years. The Most High doesn't play. He was always gonna wake some folks up with shock and awe. And I guarantee you, as we've spoken here in these last 2 hours, a lot of things have probably transpired. But family, we need your help. This is the rallying cry. This is the rallying cry amongst our people. This is a rallying cry for the effort to not get involved in what's happening. This is a rallying cry to work with our people. And that starts today. That starts this very hour, this very moment. That's this very moment. So, with that, any comments from the executive still remaining?
The only thing I have to say is to invest your money while it's worth something, for our future.
Hallelujah.
I second that as well. As while the USD has some value, donate to Quest Unite Africa. Donate to your future and to the future generations, because it's not a matter if, it's a matter when.
Absolutely. Hallelujah. Well, thank you, family, for joining us on this special report for Quest Unite Africa discussions. We will also have Q2A discussions tomorrow. I'm trying to line up a special guest that's in the audience. That special guest needs to check their email that I sent to them earlier and respond. Special guest. Hallelujah. Listen, this isn't to be afraid. We're not in a time to be afraid. If one thing, this is a time to be emboldened, because why? Because you're seeing the hand of our Heavenly Father working in this time. And we serve an awesome Elohim. We serve an awesome Father who loves his children, who protects his children. So if anything, be confident in that. And give the Most High praise and glory in everything. Hallelujah. So with that said, on behalf of Q2UA Afrika, Shalom, Salama, Siemi, Shalom. Peace and blessings, Yasharel.
Tuna wageni watatu, Mheshimiwa Sebastian Kapufi mbunge, ambao ni wadau wa maendeleo kutoka Marekani. Wadau wa maendeleo kutoka Marekani. Karibuni sana.